Well, good morning, folks. Lester here, and I'm coming to you from Longhorn Lester's. And in today's video, I want to talk to you about all of the changes that are going to happen. I've been trying to address these changes in different videos, and I'm noticing that my email, the comments are just packed with people's curiosities about this and that. And I don't guess that's really fair to you all. As a video creator, you want to make sure that you save your videos. And so you selectively pick and choose what you reveal to people. But we're closer than that. And I think that you guys have a right to know. So if you'll bear with me, today I'm going to go through and tell you all of the different changes that are going to happen at both properties. And that will kind of give you a better understanding of what's what, who's who, and how it's all going to affect us as far as the viewing video. Really? All right, so that sound you hear in the background is my tractor running. All right, let's talk first about our Longhorns. Now, this is the one that you've heard before. If you've watched any of the videos, you already know that we're going to be leaving Tex, that's our bull, and his heifer, that would be Santana. Guys, that's not me. That's Tat. That is him making that noise. We're going to be leaving Tex. Oh my gosh. What is that noise coming out of your mouth? Is that a mean noise? Are you being mean? You're not red. You're not showing any signs of aggressiveness towards me, but I don't know that noise. Oh, Lord. So we're leaving Tex and Santana. Those are the originals, the OGs, as people say. They're going to stay right here, and they will never leave and go anywhere. Santana also has a calf. That's Charlene there in front of her, and Charlene will be staying here for at least 8 months to a year. And so we will not be moving Charlene anytime soon. So those 3 Longhorns will be here, and only those 3 Longhorns. Now, down the road, we have talked about this, but down the road, if Jamie and I decide to invest the money in a decent loading pen, a corral and a loading pen, we might sign Tex up for stud services. And we would make it to where other Longhorn ranches could bring their heifers here to be serviced by Tex. And then we would load them back up after their week of band camp. And so that will be the extent of any Longhorns here at Longhorn Lester's. And you're saying, wow, Longhorn Lester's, the home of 2 Longhorns. Well, you know what? Longhorn Lester's is the home of Tex. And that's all that matters, okay? He is the original. He is the reason that we were able to afford this place. And so he's the reason we've even begun shopping for this place. So yes, Longhorn Lester's is the home of Tex and the legacy that he has created for himself, all right? And so he will never be going anywhere. So the Longhorns that we'll be leaving will be Gracie and Pearl. Gracie and Pearl will be going back to I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. They will have that back 11 acres that they will share with Jolene and Waylon. So Waylon, who's not registered but is a full-blood Longhorn, will be the bull, the herd bull, to his wonderful ladies. That would be Jolene, Gracie, Pearl, and eventually in a year, they'll be joined by Charlene. All right, so that will make us with 5 Longhorns over at I'm a Survivor Sanctuary, plus any offspring, eventual offspring. That will leave us 2 Longhorns here. All right, so that is the story with the Longhorns. So what I want to show you next is the process that we're going to use to load the Longhorns. Someone's shooting off in the distance. I want to show you the process and how we're going to load the Longhorns. And we'll make that chapter 2 of this video, just chapter 2. We're going to just give it chapters, y'all. We're making a chapter book here. So chapter 2, how will we load the Longhorns? All right, so what I'm doing today is removing all of this hay out of the cow barn. We're here in the cow pasture, and I am taking hay, fresh, good, clean hay out of the hay barn. Guys, it's hay that never got eaten. We didn't go through that much hay this year, and we're blessed for that. So all of this will more than likely become burn hay. What I'll do is I'll move it into the pasture. I have to open up space here for my cattle chute. A lot of you guys already know this. Give me a moment to get off this. Oh, there I am. How bad does that look, me getting off the tractor? As I get older, I look a lot less cool getting off and on a tractor. So this is my loading chute. Don't judge because it works. Do not judge because it does work. So ultimately, because the hay's here, I can't use it right now. But if the hay were not here, and I'm moving it out of the way right now, what I do is I put my feed bowl or my feed trough right here. I'll open these gates up so animals, when they want to come in and eat, don't feel confined to this area. They don't want to feel like they've gotten trapped. So when they come in here to eat, what I'll do is come by and close this gate behind them. And so that animal, even though they're closed in, they still don't feel confined because the gate's open here. They have plenty of room to move around through all this section, which is exactly what I want them to do. Whenever I'm ready to load the animal, I'll simply back my trailer up right there to where the tractor's at. I'll open the big swing gate, which will completely close off this section. I run the animal out of the chute, I run the animal out of the stall into what is now a chute. I close this gate over here, and so now that animal is trapped into this, this 10-foot loading chute. I get behind the animal, whistles and bells and all kinds of hooping and hollering, and I simply move that animal right up into the back of the trailer. I've done that several times. You guys have seen that process happen, and so I'm not too concerned about getting Gracie and Pearl loaded whenever that day happens, which will be pretty soon. Anyway, what I have to do first, though, is move the hay out of here. The hay is kind of impeding my way. The reason some bales are all destroyed, as you can see, is because I accidentally have left the gate open a few times. These gates over here, I've forgotten to close them, and it was about a 3-day stretch. I didn't even realize the cows were coming in and just tearing into my hay. But another thing about the hay being stacked in here, it's been good to keep it out of the weather. The hay's nice and clean and still dry, but the bad thing is it has allowed a lot of debris that has blown in. When you have those northwesterly winds blow, all them leaves come blowing across here and kind of got piled up, which has created quite a mess here in the cow barn. Not a big deal because I don't use the barn like I thought I would, but it is in fact my loading chute, and so I have to go ahead and do some work today to get it all cleaned up and ready for our move. I have all the hay moved out. Now I'm going to attempt to come by with my bucket and scrape all of this out of here. Everybody is so curious what's happening. All right, so this here is how the trailer setup works. All right, so chapter 3, horses. Let's talk about the horses. So everyone knows that Jamie has talked extensively about Dixie and her ailments. Guys, she's an older horse, and she's had a wonderful life, but she has come to the end of her days. Now, I don't know what day that'll be, but Dixie has some issues. She has a couple of tumors. She has cancer in the brain, poor baby. And we know that she will not last forever. But nonetheless, her last remaining days or weeks or months or years will have to be spent in the smaller pastures. And that's fine. We have a plan for her, and then we're going to make that plan work. And so Dixie will remain here. Dixie's not going anywhere. She will remain here where Jamie can give her as much time as she needs. And of course, Beverly, her partner, will remain with her until her last days. I know, Beverly, you hope that she lives forever, and so do we. But we are also going to be bringing Bucky's and Voodoo. Now, Bucky's and Voodoo will not be in this side of the pasture. Since we're going to only have our big grass eaters over here, our big pasture grazers are going to be Tex and Santana. That leaves us a lot of pasture that has to be maintained. So since Ellie and Megan are not really big into horses, as a matter of fact, Ellie has a bit of a fear of larger animals, we're going to be bringing Bucky's and Voodoo to live in the pasture here alongside Tex and Santana. We have really good grass here and plenty of it. We have all the resources. And what Jamie and I are especially happy about is the fact of all the shade trees. You do know that Voodoo has an issue with sunburning. His light skin gets burnt pretty badly in the summertime, and he can actually go through quite a few skin issues. So over here, with all of the trees, all of the shading, along with, we have the big barn, and don't forget, we built the place for Dixie over here. You can't see it from this angle, but Dixieland, there's plenty of places for Bucky's and Voodoo to go to get out of the weather. And we certainly plan on utilizing our stalls over here if we need to for when the farrier comes. And so we really are set up and equipped really nice for taking care of horses here. I can't say the stalls that I built for the cows are going to be as nice as the ones that I'm a Survivor, but they do have stalls. We can get them out of the weather. We can work on them with the vet when the vet comes, or farriers, and they're going to be a really neat piece of what makes Longhorn Leicester so beautiful. So we have to keep Dixie and the two geldings separated, and that's fine. As you guys can remember, Dixie did not do well at the other property anyway. As much as she enjoyed being a horse and being around horses, both the geldings, Bucky's and Voodoo, did pick on her. You know, she's a mare, a female, and they did pick on her, and they kind of put her where she was always playing second fiddle, or third fiddle in this case. You get what I'm saying. So we will have all of our horses over here. Now, there's no way you can bring Bucky's and Voodoo and not bring Ivy. Guys, remember, Ivy, just like Beverly, she thinks she's a horse. They don't recognize there's a difference, okay? So along with Bucky's and Voodoo, we will be bringing Ivy. So total, 5 large mammals in this pasture. That would be Tex, Santana, Bucky's, Voodoo, and Ivy. And we do have enough grass and enough accommodations, amenities, to fulfill all of their needs and give those 5 the very best life possible. Okay, well, that is the end of the chapter on horses and donkeys. Okay, so as far as goats go, we don't plan on moving any goats as far as a permanent move. It could be possible that seasonally we'll transfer a few goats back and forth just to help maintain some vegetation over here on this 10 acres. But you guys remember that it was a big deal to us that our goats have had to have almost no grains whatsoever while on this property. There's so much vegetation in that 10 acres of woods that our goats have stayed plenty fat, eating off of God's green goodness. So Ringo, Old Nanny Goat, Tilly, Pebbles, and Sissy will all remain at I'm a Survivor unless we want to bring them over during the fall and winter just for some of the goodness that grows over here. Let me turn my camera around. Now, in speaking about goats, we do have a billy goat, a buck, on this property now, who we do hope will give us some more babies. We could actually use more babies here. Reason is, you all know that we don't process, we don't eat, we don't sell our babies. But what we do is use our goats to help us maintain our pastures. And even though they're all sitting down doing nothing right now, they're being absolute bums on this beautiful morning, goats will eat things that cows and horses will not eat. And then, you know, cows and horses eat stuff that goats won't eat. And that works out real nice having them share this pasture here, because our goats can eat some stuff down The horse and donkey can kind of help out a little bit. And so our plan is to bring in, we've brought in our little billy goat, and he will eventually give us more babies. And that'll be a lot of fun for us, and it will give us a few more goats for this pasture. You could probably run 20 to 30 goats here and not have an issue. There's our little guy there. Hi, Prince, we're talking about you. Hi, Mr. Handsome Guy. We're talking about him right now. And so we do have 4 does here, 4 does that are young and could very easily become mommies. Yes, mommies, mommy goats. And that would be the beautiful daddy right there. Mr. Huck is still our leader. Don't make any mistake about it. Prince may have the almond joys, but guess what? Mr. Huck is still our goat leader. All right, so the final chapter is going to be talking about the ostriches. Well, we might talk about the dogs, but let's talk about Carl and his family first. I'm walking over there now. I know the wind has picked up. It might be a bit of an issue. I'm going to hope to get through the video before it creates all kinds of chaos. So let me flip my camera back around. All right, so nothing is going to change with Carl. Carl is at his forever home. Carl is as much a part of Longhorn Lester's as is Tex. Now, we may have bought it for Tex, but we know that Carl has found his best life here. And so we're excited about leaving Carl here. Once breeding season or mating season is over, he'll calm down a whole lot, and he can once again be allowed to run free in the larger pastures, or even here along the hillside. Well, you know what? With all Jamie's garden stuff, that might not happen. But he has plenty of acres of pasture over here. He can even be let out along the big pasture along the backside. And Carl and his family will enjoy that. Now, there is the possibility that at some point, Carl, along with Tat and Charlie, may begin to fight. They will mostly be fighting during the breeding season. So it is possible that when we have those seasons and the ostriches begin to get mean to each other, we have 3 adjacent and adjoining pastures right here. I'm going to go stand in the very center of all 3, where all 3 of the big birds, males, can be separated. Carl, settle it down. No one's after you. This is the middle right over here, where you can see all 3 pastures. They're all of the same size. They're congruent in size and shape. And then they can all 3 be divided to where none of the birds can give a problem to each other. And at the worst, they might kind of peck each other over the fence because we did not make a very high fence over here. If that does happen, then we can always take either Charlie or Tat. I'm thinking probably Charlie, along with maybe Susan, to I'm a Survivor. We've talked about it, but I don't know if we're going to do that yet, because even Charlie might end up being an issue as he matures and gets older. And we don't want to have any animals that I'm a Survivor that's going to put Ellie and Ben and Megan in any danger while they're over there. I guess the last thing that we'll talk about are dogs. Buddy and Trixie, along with Ritzy, will for a fact remain at I'm a Survivor. Ellie and Megan will let them out of their yard every morning and put them back into their yard every afternoon. Those dogs are great as far as alerting anyone to other dogs in the area. They're just great watchdogs. They're great watchdogs. Trixie has some bad habits that Ellie will have to make sure he's always aware of, the way we have. But they're doing great over there, and we don't want to disrupt that. Ritzy enjoys going off every day to hunt through the woods. Something she couldn't do here because of the neighbors were complaining about dogs So those 3 dogs will for sure stay over there. As far as Millie and Fiona, they are fixtures here at Longhorn Lester's, and I'm pretty certain that no matter what, any of our future rescues, as long as they are accepting of each other and our dogs are getting along good, those dogs will also be a part of Longhorn Lester's. Here's why. They have a shop that we keep open. They can come in and out as they want to, nighttime and out of the weather. It stays nice and cool in the summer with nice fans and big swimming pools they can play in. Of course, it stays warm in the winter. And so they also have plenty of room to run and play here. without getting into too much trouble. So we do believe that any dogs that we bring in, the ones that we have now and in the future, will all be more of a part of Longhorn Leicesters instead of I'm a Survivor. Okay, well, obviously we will not be moving any gardens. We, in fact, have 2 gardens, one at both properties. And how are we going to manage that?
We're going to be back and forth all the time, and not just for gardens, but for animals and for humans. And it's only an extra layer, so nobody freak out, nobody worry. You're going to get to see everybody that you love nonstop and even more than ever before.
You know, I didn't talk about one animal that we probably should pretty soon. How about Indy, our alpaca Indy?
Well, after we groom her, we are going to have to work on the weaning process because she can't remain with her daddy in the same pasture, and she has to be weaned from mama. So
if we do bring Indy over, we will eventually buy her own partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So Indy could quite possibly be over here. Now, if Indy is over here, will she be in the big pasture or in the pasture here with the goat area?
She'll be with the goats. That's what she knows.
So she'll
loves.
be in this 10 acres over on this side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there's plenty of grass on this side, guys.
Maybe we can even gentle her down to where we can love on her and touch on her then, because she doesn't have mama's crazy
watchful
fear.
eye.
Yeah.
Over us. Okay, guys, that's all we got for you today. Thank y'all for sticking around. I know that these longer, informative videos are not near as fun as just a good old animal shit show, but it's some important things to talk about. To let you know that Jamie and I have had this discussion. This is not something that we did on a whim. This has been in the works for years, plural years, and we're just now at a point now where things are all kind of beginning to fall into place.
All right, take some time, digest it. Watch, follow along.
Ask questions, comments, ask the questions, and I will try to get to all of them in a timely manner.
We love you, go.
Thank y'all for watching.
Don't let your troubles fester. Come watch Longhorn Leicester.
Yeah, something like that.